David had always been a fiercely independent man, so it was devastating when he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. He tried to hold on to his memories, but they slipped away from him like grains of sand through his fingers. One day, David became convinced that someone had stolen his identity. He was sure that a man named Heimer had stolen everything and had taken over his life. Every time David saw his reflection in the mirror, he felt like he was looking at a stranger. He would pace around his house muttering about this guy called Heimer and how he was going to get his life back. His family tried to reassure him that everything was fine, but David wouldn't listen. He started taking extreme measures to protect his identity, changing his passwords and shredding every piece of mail that came through the door. His family was at a loss as to what to do. But Heimer was always there, questioning David's every move. Al would keep on asking again, and again, "David, who is that woman? Why does she say she's your wife?" David's wife had been married to him for over 30 years, but some days David couldn't remember her name. David's wife would take him regularly for meals at his children's house, but Heimer kept questioning their identity. "Who are they?" Al would keep asking. "And why are we here? And why do they claim to be your children?" David knew they were his children, but sometimes he couldn't remember their names or what they looked like when they were younger. Heimer never stopped. He was a constant nagging in the back of David's mind. David tried to ignore him, but he was always there, questioning his every move and memory. One day, David's wife found him sitting alone in the living room, staring off into space. She led him to the dining table, sat him down, and took his hand. "David, do you remember me?" David looked at her, and for a moment, the fog cleared from his mind. "Of course, I remember you," he said. "You're my wife." Tears filled her eyes as she hugged and danced with him, and for one brief moment, they were back together, just like they used to be. But soon the voice returned, and Heimer was back, nagging and questioning everything David said and did. One day, David went missing. His family searched for him everywhere, but he was nowhere to be found. Eventually, they got a call from the police. David had been picked up wandering the streets, confused and disoriented. They brought him back home, and his family was relieved to have him back safe and sound. As the disease progressed, David's obsession with Heimer faded away. Instead, he lived in a world of his own, where memories and reality blurred together. David's family always knew that they couldn't fight against David's nemesis Heimer, but they would always love David, no matter what he now says or does. They must now, as so many others have before, simply watch as a loved one slowly slips away and is engulfed by one of the cruelest diseases known to man, Alzheimer's.